week 14 of the fantasy baseball season. And here's a few pitchers I look to pick up off the wire this week. The first guy, Domingo Germán of the New York Yankees. Obviously, he's the talk of Major League Baseball and fantasy baseball after throwing the perfect game versus the Oakland Athletics. Games before that, he was batting practice in those ball games. So Domingo Germán, surprisingly, still out there in 60% of fantasy leagues, even after that perfect game. So on the season for Germán, 81 in the third, 5-5 record, 78 Ks, a 4.54 ERA, 1.05 WHIP, and 5 quality starts. Obviously, the numbers haven't been great for Germán, and even in the last month of the season, like I said, he was getting hit pretty decently. And a couple games he got rocked. His ERA in the last month of 5.67 with a 2-2 record in 27 innings. So right now, Germán, I know it was a perfect game. I know a lot of people overreacting, but I'm saying definitely go out there and pick him up because we know the upside of Germán here. But it was the Oakland Athletics, and like I said, Germán's been an inconsistent pitcher this season. So the last few outings, June 16th at Boston, 2 innings, got the loss, 7 hits, 7 runs, 2 walks, a K in that one. June 22nd versus the Mariners, 3 1/3, got the loss, 8 hits, 8 runs, 2 walks, 4 Ks. And June 28th at Oakland, perfect game in that one with 9 strikeouts. So right now, the game since 2012 in the major leagues here. And Domingo Germán went out there and he got the job done. But now we'll see what he does here tonight in his first outing since the perfect game versus the Baltimore Orioles, who we know has a pretty solid offense. So right now, Germán, I know it was a perfect game and all. I still would pump the brakes a little bit, but he has to be the number one pickup this week after the upside we saw from Germán and what he's capable of after that performance. Next pitch is Brady Singer of the Kansas City Royals. So Singer, early in the season, I said he was a droppable guy, but over the last few weeks now, he's starting to get things going after last season. He was pretty solid, but overall the numbers this year aren't good at all. 89 in 2/3, 5-7 record, 74 strikeouts, a 5.68 ERA, and a 1.47 WHIP with 5 quality starts on the season. So I said the first month or two, he wasn't good at all with Singer. But the last couple weeks here, he's starting to get things going a little bit for fantasy owners who have picked him up in a few percentage of leagues. And for the Kansas City Royals, and that time for Singer, 20 innings, 1-1 record, 9 Ks, a 3.26 ERA, and a 1 WHIP with 2 quality starts in the time. So right now, I said Singer was good last season, and right now he's been solid over the last month and a half. After the first 2 months, he was off to a horrendous start for the Kansas City Royals. June 21st at the Tigers, 7 innings, got the loss, 7 hits, 5 runs, a walk, 2 Ks. June 27th versus the Guardians, 6 innings, no decision, 4 hits, no runs, 2 walks, 3 Ks, a quality start. And July 2nd, obviously, versus a solid Dodger team. He pitched a gem, 7 innings, got the win. 4 hits, a run, 3 walks, 4 Ks, a quality start. So Singer's gone out there, and he's pitched pretty good baseball. I know the previous 2 starts before the Dodger one, the Guardians' offense isn't all that great, or the Detroit Tigers. But now, versus the Dodgers, it was a real deal offense and a great outing for Singer. So right now, while he's available, 65% of fantasy leagues, fantasy owners should definitely go out there and get him. He's not going to give you a lot of wins. Obviously, he's on a Royal team that's one of the worst teams in the league, and they're not going to give him much run support, but he could give you quality starts. He's been going deeper into games over the last couple weeks here, Singer. And right now, I would give him an ad. The next pitcher is Colin Rea of the Milwaukee Brewers. So Rea, he's been amongst the league leaders early in the season in home runs allowed, but now things are starting to click here for Rea, and he's been pitching better over the last few weeks on the year. 75 in 2/3, 5-4 record, 60 strikeouts, a 4.27 ERA, and a 1.18 WHIP with 3 quality starts on the season. So right now we know this Brewers rotation is totally banged up, that they were going to guys like Julio Teheran, who's actually been solid besides his last outing, to go in the rotation, and they need outside help. So Rea, he's been a mainstay in the rotation pretty much the whole season for this Milwaukee Brewer team. In the last 2 outings, he's starting to find it. June 20th versus Arizona, 5 1/3, 7 hits in that one, 4 runs, a walk, 2 Ks. June 26th at the Mets, 6 1/3, got the win, 3 hits, a run, a walk, 3 Ks, a quality start. And then in his latest outing, July 2nd at Pittsburgh, 6 2/3, got the win, 5 hits, 2 runs, a walk, 3 Ks, a quality starts. I know the Mets and the Pirates offense is very inconsistent. Not many threats in that lineup besides 2 or 3 guys per team here. But Colin Rea has gone out there after he's been struggling the first 2 months of the season and pitching better baseball. And right now he's available widely in 86% of fantasy leagues. I'm not going to count on him to be a top guy that's totally going to be great for your rotation, but as a back-end player and a guy to take a flyer on and a spot starter, I don't think it's a bad option to have Rhee on your team because he's gone out there, he's improved over the last few outings, and the Brewers, they need help in the starting rotation, and I don't see him leaving the rotation anytime soon unless Woodruff comes back and they make a trade or something like that, is this Brewer rotation. But I think his spot for now is pretty solid for Rhee, especially after the last two outings. The next pitcher is Kyle Bradish of the Baltimore Orioles. So I was mentioning him as an ad last week, and once again, Bradish has gone out there and pitching better baseball over the last month of the season. On the year, 4-4 record, 78 innings, 3.58 ERA, a 1.21 WHIP, and 7 quality starts. And over the last 2 weeks here for Bradish, 18 innings, 2-1 record, 22 Ks, a 2.50 ERA, a 1 WHIP, and 2 quality starts. So right now to have a good ERA in a division like the AL East, that's the best division in Major League Baseball, in my opinion. It's pretty impressive here what Kyle Bradish has done. And right now still available in 57% of fantasy leagues. But if he goes out there one more time with another great outing, he's not going to be available in many fantasy leagues. So this could be the last chance for owners to go out there and get him. June 20th at the Rays, 5 innings, got the win. 4 hits, 2 runs, 2 walks, 8 Ks. June 25th versus the Mariners, 7 innings, got the win. 2 hits, 2 runs, 2 walks, 7 Ks, a quality start. And July 1st versus the Twins, 6 innings in that one, got the loss, 7 hits, a run, a walk, 7 Ks, a quality start. So the strikeouts have been impressive as well here for Bradish. In the last 3 outings here for him, 22 strikeouts, very impressive. I know he didn't versus great hitting teams. Tampa's middle of the pack, Seattle middle of the pack, and Minnesota needs a lot of help hitting the baseball, I believe. But right now he's gone out there and he's producing. And like I said, he's pitched in the toughest division in Major League Baseball this season in the AL East. So Bradish definitely a solid ad this week. The next pitcher is his teammate Cole Irvin of the Baltimore Orioles. So Cole Irvin, he got called up recently after he was in the minor leagues and dealing with injuries. And we know Irvin's been a veteran in this league, known usually with the Oakland Athletics. So on the year here for Irvin, 31 in the third, 1-3 record, 28 strikeouts, 6.58 ERA, and a 1.47 WHIP. So right now, I know the numbers aren't all that great on paper here for Irvin, but it's a small sample size, and he's pitching for a solid Baltimore Orioles team. In the last couple games out, he's gone out there and he has pitched good baseball. So Irvin right now available pretty much in every fantasy league in 96%. And right, like I said, he plays for a good Baltimore team. I know it's in a tough division over there in the AL East, but he's a guy that could go out there and give some innings to fantasy owners. June 26th versus the Reds, 3 innings, 3 hits, a run, 3 Ks in that one. July 2nd versus Minnesota in that one, 5 innings, he went, 6 hits, a run, 3 walks, and a K. So right now, Baltimore, they're an up-and-coming team, no doubt about it. They're in the playoff hunt. And Cole Irvin, I think, could start get things going. He's more of a deeper league ad, obviously, out there in 96% of fantasy leagues and not going that deep into ball games. But right now, in deeper leagues, he's an ad as Irvin. And even in 12-team leagues, pitching is thin, at least in the leagues I'm in. So right now, I would take a shot at Irvin. If he doesn't contribute, you could just drop him back to the waiver wire. The next pitcher is Emmett Sheehan of the Los Angeles Dodgers. So Sheehan's been on this list now for the 3rd week in a row and still out there in 58% of fantasy leagues here, Sheehan. So on the season, 17 innings, 2-0 record, 12 Ks, a 2.65 ERA, 0.82 WHIP, and 2 quality starts. So he's the big, tall right-hander for this Dodger team. We know Julio Urias just came back from injury, and he got bombed in his first outing at the Kansas City Royals. And Sheehan, he's going to be a mainstay, I believe, in this rotation. Mike Grove will get pulled, or either Bobby Miller sent back to the minor leagues. So the first 3 starts of his major league career for Sheehan, pretty solid. June 16th versus the Giants, 6 innings, tough, no decision, no hits, 2 walks, 3 Ks, a quality start. June 23rd versus the Astros, 6 innings, got the win in that one. 3 hits, 2 runs, 2 walks, 4 Ks, a quality start. And June 29th at Coors Field, I think he held his own in that one in a tough pitcher's park. 5 innings, got the win. 7 hits, 3 runs, 5 Ks in that one. So his next outing's a good one tomorrow on 4th of July versus the Pittsburgh Pirates, who we know their offense is very inconsistent, and they strike out a decent amount as well. So right now, Sheehan's still out there, like I said, in 58% of fantasy leagues, and owners should go out there and get him in more leagues, because I think he could pay and help fantasy owners in a big way. The next pitcher is Tanner Bybee of the Cleveland Guardians. So Bybee, since he got called up in May, he's been on and off this list the whole season. A lot of people overlooking Bibee, in my opinion. Right now, out there in 57% of leagues. On the year, 65 innings. 5-2 record, 67 Ks, a 3.46 ERA, 1.26 WHIP, and 4 quality starts on the season for Bibee. And over the last 2 weeks, 16 2/3, 3-0 record, 22 Ks, a 2.16 ERA, a 1.32 WHIP, and a quality starts. I don't know how much more you could ask from Tanner Bibee for fantasy owners, but the fact that he's out there in over 50% of leagues and 57% is pretty surprising to me. June 18th at Arizona in that one. 5 innings, got the win. 7 hits, 3 runs, 3 walks, 6 Ks. June 24th versus the Brewers, 6 innings, got the win. 3 hits, a run, 4 walks, 7 Ks, a quality start. And July 1st at the Chicago Cubs in that one. 5 2/3, got the win. 3 hits, 2 walks, 9 Ks. So right now, Bibee over the last 3 outings, he's gone out there and he's been a strikeout machine with 22 strikeouts in the last 3 outings. His spot in the rotation is good to go. Logan Allen, unfortunately, got called down to the minors with Aaron Savall and Cole Quantrill getting those other spots in the rotation right now with Gavin Williams and Bibee. But Bibee's here to stay, and he should be owned in more fantasy leagues, at least 10-team leagues or deeper, I would add him. He's got a good strikeout rate, strikeout per inning. He's going pretty deep into games for the most part, and he just finds a way to win, it seems like. Pretty much every other game is Bibee, with already on the season 5-2 record, which is pretty solid, with a solid ERA. The only thing is I know he's not going to get a lot of run support, where this Guardian team doesn't hit for extra bases a lot or hit home runs. But right now, Bibee is a pitcher fantasy owner should go out there and get. The next pitcher is Brian Wu of the Seattle Mariners. So Wu, he's been on this ad list over the last few weeks, and he's got high potential, especially in the strikeouts. Is Brian Wu on the season, 22 2/3, 1-1 record, 32 Ks already, 4.37 ERA, 1.24 WHIP, and over the last 2 weeks here, 10 1/3, 1-0 record, 12 Ks and 0.87 ERA, and a 1.16 WHIP. So Wu, the only thing with him, obviously, that I got a problem with is he don't go deep into games where he could even qualify for a win. Right now, it seems like he's been 4-5 innings at best, is Wu. Even though the last few outings he's gone a little bit deeper, over 5 innings in 2 out of the 3. But before that, it was short stints. But now that he's gotten his feet wet in the major leagues here as well, I think he could get things going, and I think he could help fantasy owners. And Marcos Gonzalez, I don't think his return is right around the corner, but we'll see when that comes if Wu will stay in the rotation. June 16th versus the White Sox, 5 2/3, 3 hits, 2 runs, 9 Ks in that one. June 22nd at the Yankees, 5 1/3, got the win, 2 hits, no runs, 3 walks, 5 Ks. And June 27th versus the Nats in that one, 5 innings, 6 hits, a run, a walk, 7 Ks in that one. So the last 3 outings here for Wu, he's gone out there and he's striking out a lot of people, 21 Ks in the last 3 outings. And his next outings here tonight at the San Francisco Giants. I know the Giants, they played the night game at the New York Mets last night, and then they get into early hours of the morning, and now got to play a night game here at home, which could be a tough turnaround, where Wu could take advantage of that, obviously, and keep going and have a good ball game. So right now, while he's available in 71% of fantasy leagues, he's definitely a pitcher I look to add this week. The next pitcher is Tarik Skubal of the Detroit Tigers, so a guy with a good strikeout ratio. Skubal's definitely that, even though we know this season we haven't seen him at all. But last year, 7-8 record, 117 2/3 with 117 Ks. So right now, Skubal in AAA in rehab outings, he was pitching good baseball. Strikeout rate was up, and his return's a nice way to get his feet wet back in the major leagues after coming off tendon surgery, which kept him out for pretty much a whole year, August 1st of last year to now. So 11 months Skubal's been out. They're going to ease him into it, even though, like I mentioned, he's been in 3 or 4 rehab starts where he was pitching good baseball and the strikeout rate was up. So right now, returns July 4th. And right now, a lot of fantasy owners already gone out there and got Skubal on their roster. So right now, out there in 68% of fantasy leagues. I know the Tigers' offense isn't that great, but they do play in a weak division over there in the AL Central, where there's not many great hitting offenses anyway, where Skubal could be decent. So right now, we'll see what he does coming off the injury. I think he could be pretty decent as a spot starter or a guy at the back end of your rotation. And right now, I would give him an ad this week. And the final pitcher I looked at is J.P. France of the Houston Astros. So J.P. France, he's getting no love this season. on the waiver wire here. He's been a guy I've been talking about since Luis Garcia went out with the injury on and off for probably 2 months now. Is JP France on the season, 60 and a third, 3-3 record, 44 Ks, 3.13 ERA, a 1.21 WHIP, and 6 quality starts. I know he's not going to strike out a lot of guys as France, but he just goes out there, he eats innings, and he always gives his team a chance, it seems like, to win ball games. And over the last month of the season, 33 and a third, 2-2 record, 18 Ks, a 2.43 ERA, 1.14 WHIP, and 5 quality starts. So he's pitching good baseball as France, out there somehow in 72% of fantasy leagues, and he's going 6 or 7 innings most nights, and he plays for a solid Houston Astros team. Even though I know this season it's been a little bit of a championship hangover for this Astros team, but they're still competing. They're still up there amongst the top in the standings, even though the Texas Rangers are having a good year. And JP France is a pitcher that should be owned in way more fantasy leagues. I believe June 23rd at the Dodgers, 6 innings, he got the loss. 8 hits, 3 runs, 2 walks, 4 Ks, a quality start. And June 29th at the Cardinals, 7 innings, he got the win. 4 hits, no runs in that one, 2 walks, 2 Ks, a quality start. So he's going out there, low ERA like I mentioned. He's getting out to eat in innings, and he's pitching for a solid Astro team. So that's a few pitches I look to add here in already week 14 of the fantasy baseball season.